Smackdown 3/28/25, the Amplified Review with BC. Some breaking news coming out of last night's SmackDown show. Jason Uso will not be main eventing WrestleMania 41. Not night 1, not night 2. It leads you to believe that Jey Uso and Gunther will be kicking off one of those two nights. Most likely the first match on the card. So there will not be a recreation of the Yes movement. That was the finale of WrestleMania 30. Come to think of it, I don't think Kofi Mania ended WrestleMania 35 either, I believe. Was that 35? I don't think he was the finale of that. I think they wanted to go with that weird triple threat that year as well. Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, Charlie Flair. If memory serves me correct, that was the same WrestleMania. So I wonder if that was the same night. But either way, I don't think Kofi actually got to main event either. So it's at least Jey Uso has a little bit of company there. But there was a lot of fans that felt like this was going to be that next Yes movement, the Rumble victory. There was going to be all this momentum. He was going to main event, and the show was going to go off the air with all this confetti and pyro and 70,000 people yeeting. Now it looks like you may just kick the night off that way, and by the end of the night, most likely a forgotten entity. But I told you guys after he won that Rumble, I said this is going to fizzle out quickly. Pains me to say that. It's my favorite tag team, man. A big supporter of the Usos. But as an individual, as a singles competitor, Jey Uso very much has limitations. And it's sad to hear that his father said last time he saw him, he looked exhausted. 2 weeks ago on Raw, man, we saw that exhaustion in real time. Dude couldn't even get over the top rope. He's botching spears. It was bad, and that was all in 1 minute. To the point where they actually had to put that in the storyline. Because WWE knows, man. They're seeing what his father is seeing. They're seeing what we're all seeing. Jey Uso's exhausted. It's hard to handle all this pressure of being a top guy. You can call yourself main event, Jey Uso all you want, but you can call yourself main event being the main event. And all the responsibility that goes with it, that's a whole nother story. So they had to put that in storyline this week. That Jey Uso's just all up in his head, and he's exhausted, and he's overthinking everything. You know, it's sad to see that in real time, but BC called it from the jump. Jey Uso is best suited as a tag team guy. Sometimes there's nothing wrong with that. Stevie Ray would be best suited in Harlem Heat. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, best suited in the Hart Foundation. Marty Jannetty was always best suited, as much as I love that dude. Best suited to be in a tag team. Sometimes no. Sometimes there is that Shawn Michaels, that Booker T, or that Bret Hart. I don't necessarily see that in the Usos. They just work so well together. And individually, there's just a lot of weaknesses that start to overshadow those positives. So with Jey Uso, after the Royal Rumble, I probably was one of the only most vocal ones to say, dude, don't think all this momentum is going to carry for 3 months. It's not going to. Jey Uso will be burnt out, but also I think the yeet movement will be burnt out by then. You're still going to get crowds yeeting, but I already feel that the magic is already gone. I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way too, and I think WWE was realizing that. We got that report last week that they were already noticing. Fans were kind of already moving on from that. And it was only a matter of time before this was the decision that was going to be made. This awkward triple threat matchup with nothing on the line is actually replacing the Jey Uso Gunther main event, or what was supposed to be. So now you're going to get Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Sethington Rollins. Again, nothing on the line. We were thinking last night, we were hearing reports that some big stipulation would be added. I don't think they could have gone too far outside the box. Number one contendership for a championship, maybe. But that wouldn't even make sense. Roman's last match was the Rumble 3 months ago, and he lost. So I don't see how he would even be in line for a title. But again, we're using logic and common sense. That's not always what Hunter wants us to use. So they're replacing that with this triple threat. That's going to main event one of the nights. The other one will be Cody Rhodes and Jonathan Cena. So that is some breaking news coming out of last night. We can confirm Jason Uso is not going to be your main event. So this whole Rumble victory for Jey Uso, it continues to just be overshadowed by doubt. By that one big question, was that the way to go? No, clearly. It was CM Punk, Jonathan Cena. Rumble, Chamber. No matter which way you go, Cena and Punk were your two. Punk going for Gunther's championship if you were not going to go John Cena and do this weird thing with Cena and Cody Rhodes. CM Punk was the way to go. And now they're trying to sell everybody. They're trying to sell everybody that CM Punk is finally getting his main event. That's what they sold you on last night. CM Punk will be a part of the main event finally. He was in tears last night. There's only one problem. Nobody's buying that shit. Nobody's buying that this is what Punk meant. We all know Punk meant win the Rumble or these days the Chamber and then take your rightful place that you have earned in the main event going for a championship. Nobody was talking about the backdoor way in where you get this weird manufactured triple threat with Roman and Seth, where many fans are still wondering why this is even happening, what's on the line, what's the purpose. And we're supposed to not ask those questions and just say, hey, who cares? They're in the main event. Very odd, man. That's not what CM Punk more than anybody envisioned when they thought main event. But we'll talk about it because we will have to talk about that contract signing for sure. Roman Reigns looked like he was the heel in all of this. I told you nobody was going to benefit. It was just about what individual is it going to be most detrimental to, right? It looks like it's going to be Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins already. I don't even know what Rollins was doing. Rollins is out there beyond third wheel status. But it was Roman that was playing more of the heel because CM Punk is just too good on the microphone. So it's just polarizing. It's clear that Roman cannot hang with Punk. So Roman is kind of just sitting back with that smirk as if he's the heel in all of this. He's telling Punk to sign it, calls him Junior, but it's clear that at any moment Punk could light that mic up, and it almost gave you vibes of many years ago when John Cena totally exposed Roman Reigns on the mic. It's called a promo, kid. If you're going to truly be the big dog, you're going to have to learn how to cut him. Absolutely ripped Roman for forgetting his lines. It just felt like at any moment CM Punk could light that dude up and he was being generous. Roman is clearly overshadowed by the polarization of CM Punk. CM Punk is the dude between all three of them. So that is detrimental to a dude that should be one of your top faces looked at that way. And instead he looked like a heel last night. And Punk looked like the hero. And that's in London. Seth Rollins, I don't know what he was doing. He was throwing his temper tantrum on the side, screaming as if he's the third child that never gets any attention. Look at me over here. I'm lighting myself on fire. Check me out. Hey, I'm playing with gasoline. I have chlorine. And the parents are like, shut up, kid. EO Sky, pie in the face from Bel Air and Rhea, right? Just get in the corner, Seth. We don't know what Seth's doing. Nobody knows what Seth is doing in this. But then you could say the same thing about Roman. It seems like they just transplanted Roman into a CM Punk Seth Rollins feud. And now we're supposed to believe that Roman and CM Punk have so much animosity that they have to have a triple threat match. It's all bullshit, and you know it. And last night, it was all exposed. How bad Seth Rollins looked there, throwing a temper tantrum when nobody was even paying attention to him. The adults were trying to have a conversation, Punk and Roman. No animosity. They didn't hate each other. Roman smiling the whole time, smirking like a heel would do. CM Punk looking right at him, cutting that promo as a face would do. Telling him that the favor wasn't just to get the Mania match, main event. No. That wasn't the favor. So that's the big storyline, right? What's the favor gonna be? Who cares? Paul Heyman has to buy him munchkins next time he sees him. He has to give him a ride to work. He has to do his dry cleaning. Who cares what the favor is? Who cares? Honestly, he's got to watch a whole season of Power Rangers. Who cares what the favor is at this point? This is a main event of Mania. We're talking about a favor. Like these are a bunch of middle schoolers. All right, man, I'll do you this favor, but you owe me. Okay. It was fun for a little bit. All right, we'll find out what it is, right? That could be a cute little side story. It's clear they're making this the whole story because they have nothing else to hang their hat on. So the show literally abruptly went off the air. Everybody didn't know if they were going to commercial. Did it accidentally cut off? Punk just said, that's not the favor. There's another one. And it just goes off the air. Is that supposed to be a cliffhanger? We're going to be hearing about this damn favor till the end of time. And then Mania comes around and what? Is Punk working with Heyman? Heyman's going to get rid of Roman? That makes no sense. Heyman and Roman go together like peanut butter and jelly, macaroni and cheese, pepperoni on a pizza. There's no way you split them up. Heyman and Punk always looked awkward together. I don't know, man. Heyman looks good with those dudes that are much bigger than him. Roman, not much, but at least bigger. Brock, for sure. Roman or CM Punk and Paul Heyman, what is that doing? That's the favor? They better get real. If they're hanging their hat on this story, they better get really creative. That's what I'm telling you guys, man. Because there's a lot of fans like BC. We're not putting up with this, man. We're not just going to half-ass this. We're not going to lower our standards and lower our bar because so many fans are willing to accept mediocrity. BC and the unit, we're not. If you're going to hang your hat on this, if this is going to be your main event for no reason and nothing on the line but a favor, you better bring it. You better elevate your creative status to a whole nother level, which means, if that means, hiding Hunter Hearst Helmsley in a closet for the whole weekend. Do what you gotta do. But you get creative adults around a table, and you come up with a creative finish and a creative story within that match at WrestleMania. Breaking news, Jason Uso out. An awkward, nonsensical triple threat is now main eventing with nothing on the line. But there's a favor. There's a favor. We have to find out what it is. Before we get into the show, I want to round up this cold open teaser. A couple other items. Number one, Naomi absolutely crushed it last night. I'm so proud of her. That was so well produced. That was the Naomi that was hiding within all along, and we just needed to get that out of her. And who would have thought just turning heel? Sometimes just a switch up. We said that about Roman for 5 years when Vince was pushing this dude, forcing him as a face, and we were rejecting it. Not because we didn't like Joanna Y. We knew there was talent, but we had to see a different variation. Like Dwayne Johnson when he was Rocky Maivia. We knew there was talent. We booed the shit out of him because Rocky Maivia was not it. He turned into The Rock, and we said, boom, there's the talent. That's what we knew what was in him. Roman got much better when he turned heel. Sometimes you just get that. Charlie Flair is a natural born heel. They keep trying to turn her face 87 times. It fails every time. She's a heel character. If they just kept her as such, maybe she'd be farther along in terms of connection with crowd and response. And then you have Naomi. We love her as a face, but damn, she's so good as a heel already, and it's just beginning. Congrats to Naomi. We'll talk about it. I also want to discuss real quick the 3-hour format. Guys, it's beyond too long. I know we say this every week. It really has to stop. It's gotten to the point where even if we get a good show, I don't know if it's not going to be exhausting still. I wouldn't know because we haven't got a good SmackDown in so long. Raw's even worse. I don't get that. But some people are like, no, SmackDown's worse than Raw. Have you seen Raw? Raw is so bad. I don't know how that conception is out there or perception is out there in the wrestling world. Raw's better than SmackDown. They're both bad. I cannot, with a straight face, tell you that Raw is better than SmackDown. Raw sucks. SmackDown is just exhausting. Something about Monday night, Friday night, maybe. I don't know. But this show has to go to 2 hours. It's exhausting. It got to The Miz and who was it? Jimmy Uso last night. I literally changed the channel for a little bit. I couldn't do it. I had to tap out for a second. I had to just get my ball bearings, get a coffee. I couldn't do it. I can't remember the last time I literally had to just tap. It's got to go 2 hours. It's bad, but guys, it's bad. If we get a good show, would that change things up? Maybe. I don't know, but it's bad. So that's just a couple of notes I had to get out to you guys in the cold open teaser. Naomi should get some props and some flowers. She got it. And 2-hour format, USA Network, WWE. Come on, pull your heads out of your asses. Do the right thing. This is, you talk about Rikishi talking, Jey Uso is exhausted. We're exhausted from watching this shit. 44 dive, we're rolling. This is the Smackdown 328-25 review. This is Amped Up, a special weekend edition with BC. Unit, only one thing left to do. Grab your beverages. Let's do this. Unit, salute. So the first 30 minutes of this show literally had nothing to do with WrestleMania. Orton and Cody are face to face. They're having a back and forth promo. It's more like Orton going on and on and on and on about Cody Rhodes, how far he's come, how he's changed the business, how he had balls to leave and come back, and the business is booming and ticket sales are up, and it's all because of Cody, or at least 99% of it is Cody Rhodes. I wish Orton would talk about all the other metrics. And by the way, if they didn't go out of the States for 3 weeks before Mania, they were not on a consecutive sellout list. So ticket sales are not up. The business for the first time this last quarter had recorded a decline in revenue, the first time in years. Metrics across the board down, from merchandise to ratings and everything in between. But we'll act like the business is booming. I got you, Orton. For promo's sake, the business is booming. And he says it's all Cody Rhodes. And we just listen to this nonstop because London, I love these crowds on one hand because they're so animated and excited and they're all this noise. And then I can't stand them because they won't shut the fuck up. They just won't. They won't shut. Like, there's times where you have to let the wrestler tell the story now, right? Because we do have to get to biz. And they're just, I mean, they spend an extraordinary amount of money. So, you know, they just want to shout the entire time. I get it. The beers are probably flowing. I get it. But it's just chants and sing-alongs, and it gets to a point where it's like, all right, I just need just a little break, please. Maybe that's part of the reason I had to tap out last night for a little bit during that Miz Jimmy Uso. I just had to. It was a lot. It was a lot, man. The non-stop sing-alongs, and it's like, whoa, do they even care that there's a wrestling event, man? You know, and don't forget, you have to tell the company if something sucks, like, let them know for all of us. But no, everything was just my point is, it's a lot. It's a lot, man. For 3 hours to have everything have to come to a halt because the crowd has to hijack the entire show. When I really just want them to say what they're saying so we can get it done, because I knew it wasn't going to lead to anything. And because of the crowd and Orton just taking forever. Guys, it took a half an hour. There's no way around it. Like 25 with the commercial and everything. By the time we got to the first matchup, it was a half an hour was done in the show. And it was nothing but Orton just glazing Cody Rhodes. This is great. This is great. If that was the main event of or even a match at WrestleMania, right? Orton versus Cody, which is what I wanted from day one. Story was sitting in their lap, right? Legacy implodes. Teacher, student. Orton turns into that legend killer again. Cody, this baby face of baby faces, and it's just, that's a Mania match. They decided not to do that. So here we are, just 22, as of last night. What are we now? 22 days? 21 days now today, so 22 days from yesterday. So 3 weeks away from Mania. And they have Orton and Cody as if they're wrestling at Mania. The problem is they're not. They're not. Jonathan Cena just couldn't be bothered to show up. And who's Orton? Kevin Owens, yeah, they have no story. Later in the night, Owens would attack real quick Randy and then run away because Orton would have a match with Drew McIntyre. We'll get to that. That's it. They don't have any story. That was evident when the show ended last night. You saw, oh, wow, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. That cooled off real quick. To BC, it was never hot. He got pile driven. He was out 3 months, several months. That's it. That's where the story ends. He comes back and he tries to pick off right where he left off with Kevin Owens. They already poured water on that. So we get Orton and Cody for a half an hour. What are you doing, man? That's not a Mania. What does that have to do with WrestleMania? And it gets even worse because here comes Drew McIntyre. It was at this point I'm thinking, wait, stop. Does Hunter even think about what he's doing? Cody's in there with Randy Orton and McIntyre. Cody's taking on John Cena. Randy's taking on Kevin Owens. And McIntyre, Damian Priest. Why are they all in the same ring together when you're trying to promote Mania? And McIntyre could not have been booked to look more stupid. Cody just punches him a few times. And Randy goes to RKO him, but he's able to escape and run away. Now, if you didn't see the show, I know a lot of you guys should check out the review. You say, thanks, BC, for saving me the time. I got you. Thanks for spending the time listening to the review and choosing BC to be your number one stop for all things pro wrestling. Don't forget to smash that up. Subscribe if you haven't. Become a channel member if you got the time. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. But if you did not see the show, trust me when I say that's exactly what happened. Mac comes out to talk a little bit of trash, gets punched by Cody a couple times, and then is able to escape an RKO and run away. Cody's music starts playing, and that's the segment, a half an hour, and you are scratching your head thinking, what just happened? What did I just do with a half an hour of my life? 3 weeks before Mania, what did this do for Mania? For anybody that stumbles upon the channel, wow, BC's harsh and he's negative and he's overly critical. No, I'm not. I'm literally giving you the review of the show. There's no way I can paint a rainbow over this or shit out some cupcakes with little sprinkles and a cherry on top. There's no way I can do that with this because it sucked. If you're being honest. If you're over the age of 12 and you understand how pro wrestling works and what we should and could be getting for entertainment, this solved nothing. This did nothing but set up a Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton match for later. And if you're thinking, well, BC, that's where all the story's going to be when that match happens, right? No. Wait till you hear how they did Randy Orton, Kevin Owens' storyline. After a half an hour with nothing to do with WrestleMania, we finally get to our first match, which is a title match. 3 weeks before Mania, we have 2 title matches last night. Meanwhile, everybody in these title matches has no program for WrestleMania. Talk about ass backwards. This was the Street Profits versus Pretty DUD-ley. Profits defeat Pretty DUD-ley to retain their tag titles. This was a Doomsday blockbuster on Wilson, I believe, for the pinfall. I don't know. His name Wilson? Kit Wilson? Something like that. Anyway, he takes the L looking up at the lights. Half of this match was spent in commercial side by side. We were now 45 minutes into the show. Nothing had to do with WrestleMania. Orton and Cody and Drew in some weird promo and Drew running away, and then the Profits and Pretty DUD-ley in a match. When I say nothing at all to do with WrestleMania, I mean nothing at all. And then hour number 1 ends with Piper Niven and Alba Fire defeating Chance and Carter. Piper pins Carter with a Piper driver. There were more botches in this matchup than I could actually count. It's sad to say that. And I say that because I love Carter and Chance. You guys know that. If there is a legit tag team division, like a real one that management pays attention to and puts time and effort into, I assure you, 100% out of the time, Chance and Carter will be one of your best tag teams. They're so good together, and they really love what they do, and they're always trying to try new stuff with one another. They're so innovative. So I love Chance and Carter. I really do. But last night they were just off. They were just off. It almost seemed like they were rusty, as if they haven't been wrestling for a while. I'm guessing they have been, right? I mean, not on TV, maybe. But they just looked rusty. It didn't look... I mean, they were trying all their innovative stuff. They were just missing on 99% of it. A rare off night. And maybe it's just they didn't mesh with Alba and Piper. Piper Niven wasn't just working in slow-mo last night. She was working in rewind mode. That's how slow Piper Niven moves. She was never like that. At least not before she got to World Wrestling Entertainment. She works so slow. She takes a million years to set up or to make sure that everybody else is in position, which makes everything look so bad. I love Piper Niven with Chelsea. I love the secrets. HERvice. I love Alba's addition. But, I mean, Piper moves in slow-mo, and last night she moved in rewind mode. It was bad. And Alba Fire, she just seemed off too. I guess when 3 out of 4 are off, you're probably going to be off as well. Post-match, Zelina Vega and Chelsea Green got involved. There was about to be, what does she call that, a code red? Zelina was about to hit Chelsea, and then there was a super kick to screw that whole thing up, right? Alba super kicks Zelina, but the super kick wasn't even close to Zelina's dome piece. So even that was messed up. It was just bad, and it's sad to say that because I like the whole secret HERvice thing. I love seeing Chelsea out there. Zelina at the end of this thing was brought out. Chance and Carter, I feel, is one of the best teams. So to see this match just so clunky, so bad, and so full of botches, and just nobody on, nobody meshing, nobody clicking, that was a rough way to end our number 1. And if you're wondering, yes, it is very true what I'm about to say. You already know. 1 hour into the show, and none of the entire hour had to do with WrestleMania. The whole hour. Nothing to do with WrestleMania. 3 weeks before the show. I mean, you guys comprehend how bad that is? I couldn't fathom it, man. I couldn't. And when we started hour 2, nothing changed. Another title match with 2 individuals that have no WrestleMania program. Again, one of them is a champion. Los Angeles Knight and Braun Strowman wrestled to a no contest following interference from Jacob Fatu. Fatu destroys them both. LA Knight, if you're going to go with a shock Royal Rumble victor, LA Knight, I don't care if he's got a U.S. title or not, LA Knight. I can't believe that Hunter, this guy is still so over LA Knight, and Hunter just never wanted to book him as the guy. Never. To this day. It's almost like, could you imagine what LA Knight could have been if Hunter booked him correctly and gave this dude the time of day? Could you imagine if when he was just white lightning hot, if he ended up getting that Money in the Bank? What was it, last year, 2 years ago, whatever, when he was just on that rise? Could you imagine? Or if he got that U.S. title during that stupid little mini tournament when they gave it to Rey Mysterio instead. He didn't even get to the final 2. Yeah, could you imagine? Instead of leaving him off big shows like Madison Square Garden when he was one of the biggest receptions, and Hunter chose to keep him off of Madison Square Garden's SmackDown that hot year. Off of pay-per-views. Could you imagine if Hunter knew what the fuck he was doing and how to book LA Knight? Or wanted to see LA Knight truly succeed, but no, that's not one of his handpicks, so he's not going to do it. Instead, he likes Damian, so he went Damian. How did that turn out? It was an epic fail. We like Damian, but he was a mid-carder. Let him work his way up. LA Knight, we were telling you, dude's ready to rock. More than just a catchphrase. It's not a yeet or a yeah. He was the dude. It's just up to you now in booking department. You have to now just get creative and he'll do the rest. It's frustrating. So Los Angeles Knight is out there in a matchup that has nothing to do with WrestleMania. You can defend your title 3 weeks before against Strowman, and you can look like an idiot. Just get destroyed by Jake Fatu. So I don't know what they're doing with Fatu. It's almost like they're teasing a face turn with Fatu. That is absolutely stupid. He should be a diabolical heel, but it's clear Hunter doesn't want diabolical heels. Nobody's a heel these days. Not a badass one. And you can't properly build baby faces if you ain't going to have diabolical heels. So now it looks like Fatu is like already a tweener. I don't know what they're doing with Fatu. Are you going to make a fatal four-way schmaz for the U.S. title? There's already so many schmaz matches that are going to be a part of Mania. All your title is going to be schmaz matchups. Are you just going to go Jacob Fatu, Braun Strowman yet again? I don't know. I don't know what purpose this serves. So I'll just move on. This was a positive. Maybe the only positive of the show. But this was so well done. Naomi, a badass video package. Interview style. But overly produced, which I'm totally fine with, right? All these different cuts and edits and zoom-ins, and they're in this like darker place with this blue light behind her, and she's, vividly talking about her frustration. She's justifying her actions toward Jade Cargill and pushing her off that ledge into that car windshield. She says, and I quote, "I'm done being the third wheel. I'm done being pushed to the side. I'm done being undervalued, underappreciated, underutilized." I love that. She covers so much with that. I'm going to say that again. I'm done being the third wheel, done being pushed to the side, done being undervalued, underappreciated, underutilized. How awesome is that, man? Undervalued, underappreciated, underutilized. That's not just her friendship with Bianca or Jade or Bianca. That's not just the fans being underappreciated, but she's talking about management, right? They added that in there. I'm done being the third wheel. You could look at that as a booking way as well. But underutilized. She wouldn't say that to Bianca. She wouldn't say that to the fans. She would say that to Vincent Kennedy McMahon. She would say that to Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Underutilized? Love it. Naomi was so good here, man. She was in tears at one point justifying her actions. Then she just kind of snaps out of it, right? She's like, you know what? No. Because now I see everything for what it is. And she just gets, that's one of the best one of the best pro wrestling produced packages that we've seen in a long time. And Naomi cut it. And for everybody that says she's not good on the mic, she's not a good talker, that was wildly good. She says, and I quote, "Jade, I'd advise you to proceed with caution." And she's been wearing all that caution attire too, so I just thought that was such a good connection. Man, this was so fucking well done. She just needs to tear shit up now, period. And I actually love what they did up next. I think Meechin was about to take on Charlie Flair. So Meechin is in the ring with B-Fab. I guess they're buddies now. So Naomi attacks Meechin and B-Fab in the ring, right? Jade Cargill would hit the ring for an awkward save as Naomi runs off. But Naomi wasn't just talking. Naomi would show up to take out a couple of baby faces. I just thought that was so well done. Jade comes out awkwardly. You could tell there's friction in that locker room, man. Not only does it look like Jade just doesn't want to be there these days. I don't know if she ever did. But she's helping B-Fab to the back, and it's so bad. It's like, you could tell she doesn't even care. Like, storyline-wise, like, in character, she doesn't even care if B-Fab's all right. She's like, "You all right?" Yeah. But she's like a whole foot away. It's like, you would get the impression that they've never even spoke to one another backstage. I'm not saying that's the case, but it looked like she did not know how to play along with B-Fab. And B-Fab is like, she just got beat up by Naomi. So a referee is on her right side helping her to the back. Jade is on her left because the whole thing is Charlie's going to come out and she's going to have a moment with Jade where they just stare at one another. So maybe Jade is just thinking about that instead of being in the moment. She's supposed to be helping B-Fab, but she only has like one arm a little bit. And she's like, you okay? Yeah, you good? Guys, it was bad. It was bad. I'm not overly critiquing it. It was bad. It was like, whoa, tell me you don't want to be in that position without telling me you don't want to be in that position. Like, if a human could look any more awkward in a situation, you'd be Seth Rollins in a triple threat random match. See what I did there? Yeah, that's right. Salute, unit. I'm just giving it to you like it is, man. And then all of a sudden Charlie Flair would come out and defeat Meechin via figure 8 submission. Nothing to talk about here. Tiffany Stratton would cut a promo after Charlie Flair defeats Meechin. And I think Jackie Redmond or somebody was like, everybody was talking about that sit down interview last night, because I guess Charlie tore her up. Everybody's saying Tiffany was exposed on the microphone. Relax. So Tiffany cut a good backstage promo. All is right in the world. Tiffany has not imploded. You don't got to jump off the Tiffy time bandwagon. Relax. If you listen to Bubba Dudley, who's always sucking the right tit of Charlie Flair, you would think that anybody that Charlie's in there with is 4% of Charlie Flair. Bullshit. Deal with it, Bubba Dudley. Your golden girl, your golden goose, in a decade has just not gotten over with the majority of the fans. There's not a connection. She should not be winning all these rumbles and getting main events and title matches, and she should not be taking Tiffany Stratton's title. That's just the fact, Bubba. Get off this girl's tit and realize what we're trying to tell you. Or continue to sound stupid. And then we end our number 2 with our weekly, or should I say showly, Hunter Hearst Helmsley Hall of Fame package. This is where we just talk and watch about Hunter Hearst Helmsley and how amazing he was in the day, right? He's Hunter Helmsley and he's got the best entrances and the best this and the best that. Well, yeah, when you're putting yourself in storylines and taking people out like Test, when you're in the right pocket of Vincent Kennedy McMahon, yeah, you're going to get everything that you ask for. That's awesome. If every other wrestler had that, wouldn't that be a switch up? But yes, that's how we ended our number 2, guys. Everybody got to praise Hunter Helmsley just a little bit more. Awesome. That's exactly what we needed to do. More Hunter Helmsley. Perhaps this Hall of Fame would be really a lot better inducting Hunter Helmsley if we didn't see this dude every single show in some type of capacity. Our number 3, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton. So Drew McIntyre pins Randy Orton via Claymore party. Well, not really a party. It was just a Claymore pinfall. Post-match, Kevin Owens attacks Randy Orton. I forgot how that... Did he end up running away after? Maybe Randy Orton got the upper hand. It was so... Yeah. Oh, I did put in my notes. Orton got the upper hand, and then Owens runs away, just as I thought. I didn't even need to read my notes. It's just WWE's just pathetic booking, right? Well, have Drew go out there, and then have Drew run away. Have Owens go out in this match, and then run away. What does this solve? You're just making these dudes look like geeks. They've had Gunther doing that for weeks on Raw, right? Show up, attack Jey Uso from behind, and somehow when it's all said and done, he's just running away. So bad. So if that got you more excited to see Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, more power to you. Owens attacks him and then runs away after Randy is like, dude, get off of me, like a fly, swatting him away. I mean, is that really getting you excited for Randy Orton, Kevin Owens? Guys, that has cooled off so fast. It's cooled off faster than Jey Uso's main event status. Oh, damn. Too soon? Too soon? No. Riveting stuff, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Riveting stuff, man. And then Rey Fenix confirmed for SmackDown next Friday. SmackDown in Chicago. Rey Fenix, but we already... Well, I guess we didn't know the exact date he'd be debuting, but we knew that it was Rey Fenix. I mean, they pretty much exposed that the last 2 weeks in those video packages. Miz versus Jimothy Uso. Really, man? Is that what we're doing this far into the show? It's almost like Hunter just wants to screw with everybody. Like, we're already exhausted. We're in the third hour, and he's giving us Miz and Jimothy Uso. I legit changed the channel. That's not a funny thing to say for entertainment purposes. I literally tapped out for a minute. I changed the channel, several minutes. I just couldn't do it, guys. Or I just didn't want to. When I turned it back to the USA Network, Drew McIntyre was through a windshield of a car in the back parking lot. South of Heaven, I believe. Damian Priest put him through. So when I turned it back, the match was already over. So maybe even Hunter Helmsley was bored to tears and told the referee to end that thing. Because when I turned it back, Drew was through a windshield. Again, from what I was hearing, it was a South of Heaven. Maybe I would have cared about that more, by the way, if they just didn't do that angle 2 months ago with Jade Cargill through a windshield. It was probably the same car. I don't know. But you just did that, man. We just had the visual of somebody through the car. You can't do it 2 months later. Probably more effective if we hadn't just seen it with Jade, man. It's just a little bit of advice for Hunter Helmsley in the future, man. Do something cool. Don't do it again for a while. They're like, but 2 months went by. 2 months. We thought it was enough time. No, it's not enough time. What I do like is that when Punk was coming down for his contract signing, he was going through that same little part of the lot where he went through the car, and they're trying to peel Drew off the car, and CM Punk is just smiling. That I liked, right? That's some symmetry, right? There's a connection there, especially with what him and Drew did last year going into 2025, or mostly last year. But in that animosity, in that disdain for one another. So to see this dude through the car, Punk was... I like that, right? That's a continuation of a story. When you can put all these moving parts together. I know it was simple, and it was just one little thing that they put together, but I like that, man. It's like... somebody had to think, hey, it would be cool if Punk actually walks by Drew after he got South of Heaven. I don't know. It's the little things sometimes, man. Because there is some semblance of story or creative or thought behind it. And that's always what I'm looking for, even if it's just a little nugget. So then we went into the contract signing. This ended the show. Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. Contract signing for the biggest triple threat match in Mania history. Or maybe they're billing it as the biggest triple threat in the history of the company. Nobody's buying it. Let's be honest, man. They all signed the contract. They tried to say some words. The crowd just wouldn't shut the fuck up. And I like it to a point. There was a time where I really wanted to hear what Rollins was telling, because I'm really trying to get into this. I'm really trying to give this a chance, guys. It's just such a nonsensical triple threat. There's nothing on the line. There's no reason for me to care. I don't believe for 1 second that there's enough animosity between Punk and Roman that you would need a triple threat match to solve these differences. Nobody's buying this. But I really tried to get into it. The crowd just wouldn't shut up, man. They didn't even care what anybody was saying. They just wanted to sing. But you see, that's how London is, man, and that's how the crowd, that's what makes them so fun. Yeah, it also makes them so damn annoying. Shut the fuck up once in a while. Sit down for a second. I need to hear this shit. So they just wouldn't let the dude talk, so he had to shout over them, and I was kind of distracted with the crowd. Finally, Punk comes out, and they sign this contract. Roman tries to sit the whole time like a mob boss or something with a smirk. He looks like a heel the whole time. The whole time he looked like a heel. CM Punk was getting probably the most chance. CM Punk looked like he looked like the eldest adult in the room, like the controller of it all. It was clear that Punk was the commander. And Seth is over there just throwing third wheel doesn't even do it justice. Seth is over there just throwing a tantrum. I really feel that Seth is doing his best to try to play his role and really make people see that there is a point in all of this, right? Seth has legit heat with Punk, and he really feels that Roman could have helped him eliminate Punk maybe, but it's just so bad, man. Seth looks... Roman's all calm, just like a heel in this. CM Punk is sitting down, just reading over the fine print, and Seth Rollins is having an aneurysm on the side. So finally, Punk signs it. Paul Heyman comes over and says... your favor is served. You finally get your dream. You're going to main event WrestleMania. And Punk starts to tear up. He's going to main event Mania. We find out there officially that Jey Uso will not be. There's just one problem. That's not a main event for that's not what CM Punk meant, and you know it. And sadly, now that storyline is over. If they ever in the future, I know his best years, most years are behind him, career-wise. But if Punk was to win a Rumble or a Chamber and go on to literally main event Mania, one-on-one for a title, isn't that gone now? That part of the magic of the story is over because he's already main eventing and they're already making that a part of this story. So it takes away from if Punk really got a real main event, one-on-one for the title that he earned from a Rumble or a Chamber victory. This whole thing's stupid. They're wasting this huge just continuation. I don't know if you want to call it a story, but a continuation of its own entity. Punk chasing this Mania main event, kind of like Undertaker in his undefeated streak. This thing took on a life of its own, and they're wasting it on a triple threat. Punk is finally main eventing on a manufactured triple threat. It was just such bullshit. And deep down, Punk knows it, man. This is not how Punk wanted to do this. But Hunter doesn't care. Hunter's probably loving this. How much more can we shit on Punk? We'll take away the Gunther match. We'll tease him and Cody, but then we'll take that match away from him as well. We won't have him win the Rumble. Won't have him win the Chamber. We'll put him in the weird triple threat so it looks like he's still getting some good stuff. We'll shit on his Mania main event. There you go. You got it. And it's tainted. It has an asterisk on it. That's how petty Paul Levesque is, dude, and that's exactly what's going on. And CM Punk knows it. He put it in his promo last week. Was it on Monday night? He's, I'm going to look through the contract and see if maybe the suits and ties are still jerking me around. He knows, man. He can sit there on Stephanie McMahon's show and talk about how they're such good buddies now. Nah. And then they go and they talk about, or Punk talks about, that's not the favor, though. I'll take the main event. Thanks, Paul. That's not the favor. And the show abruptly ends. Just like that, guys. Like that's supposed to be the... What? Dude, there's another favor. Dude, there's that wasn't the favor. Who cares what the favor is? Get him a Boston cream the next time you're in Dunkin'. That could be the favor and I wouldn't care. Paul Heyman is going to turn on Roman and join CM Punk. That's just a stupid idea that doesn't make sense, and they just don't fit together. I didn't like Punk and Heyman together the first time around when he was in that Mania match with Undertaker. PC, what are you talking about? They work so well together. That's great. It doesn't look the symmetry. It doesn't look good. Heyman works best with people like Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, these bigger dudes. Roman, again, isn't that much bigger. Sometimes it's wild to see him with other people and see that Roman isn't actually that big, but you get my point, man. Punk is just not the biggest of individuals at all. He's not Mellow Hayes. I just don't see it, man. He works with Punk. Why? Why would you do that? Punk is still super over. Punk is a face, man. People generally want to see Punk tear this company up, and the creative that he's given doesn't allow him to do that. It is clear that Punk is leaps and bounds. Just one of the dudes, if not the. Just is. And in there with Roman got exposed yet again like he did many years ago with John Cena. He just got overshadowed, guys. And those type of segments, they are detrimental to Roman Reigns. It is clear he's the most uncomfortable in those situations. And he just played the role of a heel, just leaning back, smirk on his face. You would think this dude was a heel. While all the focus is on Punk, the face. And Seth is just over there just trying to get any type of attention. Look, guys, I'm on fire. People are like, shut up. Somebody put water on this guy. Some duct tape. Shut him up. Oh, man. You know, Seth is trying, though. He really is to make people care about this. It's just that bad, guys. It's that bad. I don't want to spend another half an hour on this, so I'm not going to. There's 3 weeks left still before Mania. I'm still going to have to talk about this nonsensical bullshit match with nothing on the line. And the report going into last night was they were going to put a stipulation on this match. That wouldn't have helped it too much, but if done correctly, maybe it would raise our care level 3, 4, 5%. Anything is something. They didn't even bother to do that. They're probably like, this is unsalvageable. Let's just try to get past Mania. I truly believe that Helmsley and WWE is just trying to get past Mania. Do the weekend, get as much money as they can, get every penny out of everybody that's going to show up in Vegas. And when it's all said and done, count their cash and move on to the next. And that is your amplified review of SmackDown 3/28/26, as real as you're going to get in this community. I assure you of that, because there's just no bullshit. You guys just happen to catch BC on his first coffee of the morning. It's very early. First coffee of the morning, man. So perhaps even extra amped up and even more so than usual, giving zero fucks. I like it that way. 44 dive. That's a wrap. Until next time, and there will be that next time. BC in the unit saying check you. Salute. Enjoy your weekends. Whoop that ass. Stay amplified.